What up, nomads? Another wedding themed video for you, and this time all about my bridal capsule, which I assembled on a budget and with sustainability in mind. The looks I wore before and after the wedding for events like my bachelorette trip, my rehearsal dinner, tea ceremony, honeymoon, a party we threw for our friends later, all of that is what I'll cover today. I was a June 2023 bride and I got engaged in January, which means we planned and threw our wedding in 6 months. Here's the timeline of our wedding events. Let's talk tips to consider before you even start shopping. The first one is just getting real about how much you want to spend. And this starts with your entire wedding budget. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but I have heard you and your future spouse's attire should be no more than roughly 10% of your total wedding budget. But every person is different and every wedding is different, so this may be way off for you. The important thing is to give yourself a ballpark and to decide what parts are worth splurging on and which ones are less important and therefore are areas where you can compromise. Also, be real about your own personal bandwidth. I sewed my own wedding dress and have a whole video about that you can check out. I did it to get a higher quality, more personal and unique dress, but under $500. However, that was a lot of my time invested, something you might not have or want to spend on DIY projects. Knowing your budget might also mean having those conversations with family on whether they're helping you pay for your wedding or whether someone is going to pay for your dress as a gift, for example, and all those other fun and not at all awkward money conversations. We plan to pay for the wedding ourselves entirely, with me taking on the lion's share based on our income. So I had a really good handle on our wedding budget, and I knew I was going to do everything we could to stick to it while also having a wedding we loved. If you're also planning a wedding on a strict budget, my next tip for keeping your bridal fashion budget under control is to have fewer events. Being a bride is a fun season, so by all means savor it and have as many parties as you want. But you don't have to do it if you're not into it and you feel like it's just to please other people. You don't need to throw or have a new outfit for the engagement party, an engagement photo shoot, the bachelorette, the wedding shower, the welcome drinks, the rehearsal dinner, getting ready photos, the ceremony or multiple ceremonies if you're interfaith or from different cultures, the reception, the after party, the grand exit, the day after brunch, the honeymoon. The wedding creep that is happening now comes with the expectation of really throwing a big event for all of these and having special outfits and maybe hair and makeup done for each of those. And that can be a lot of planning and a lot of money. So all I'm saying is it's okay to opt out, simplify, or just reject the pressure to treat every moment like a huge event. Next tip is to nail down the big picture decisions before you shop. Even if you have a vision of what you want to wear, knowing which events you are having, where and when they will be, what season they'll be, if it's a destination wedding, where your honeymoon will be, these are all factors to consider. You can kind of treat it like a packing list. You'll want to know the weather, the activities, and if you'll need pieces to mix and match over the course of your bridal season. Having a good grasp of what you're shopping for will help you plan better and avoid making impulse purchases that aren't quite right. I live in Montreal most of the year, but got married in the Midwest, so I needed to plan what I was going to pack for the wedding events, for the honeymoon, but also hopefully use some of those items for the rest of my 2-month stay. I'd also recommend buying the big things before the little ones as much as possible. I did make a few mistakes, like buying a veil before I completely settled on a dress direction and then changing my mind, so I had to buy another veil to better match what I was going to wear. That being said, when something speaks to you, it speaks to you. So if you're creating your looks around a piece of heirloom jewelry, or you just know there's a pair of shoes you've always dreamt of wearing on your wedding, then those matter more and go ahead and get them. And the rest of it will all fall into place. For me, one of the first things I purchased were actually these earrings. I saw them in a gift shop in my neighborhood and just loved them. They were bold but classic and I just had to have them. And they were the only pair, so I did pull the trigger. All right, so you know your wedding details, the peripheral events, the season, the logistics, more or less all of that. Now you can start vision boarding your looks. I'm no stranger to the pull of Pinterest and the dangers of falling into the online comparison game, as well as idolizing celebrity weddings, so proceed with caution. But there's just so much inspiration online, so I did enjoy following Instagram accounts like Anti-Bride that aligned with my aesthetic a bit more. Next, I'd recommend shopping your own closet first. Pull out everything that is white or dressy and decide if anything could be a good fit for your events. From my own closet, I used a few white tanks, some white pants, an old Club Monaco dress that I thrifted years ago that I wore to get ready for my wedding. I also had more than enough clothes for a honeymoon, so I didn't buy anything specifically for that. I also did a ton of thrifting during my 6-month engagement. I found this dress and this tunic, and even though I didn't quite know what I would use them for, at $7 a piece, I just got them and figured it out. I ended up shortening the tunic and wearing it to an at-home impromptu tea ceremony. I know, I wore white to a tea ceremony. Don't come for me. I wore red in the outfit too. For this thrifted dress, I ended up removing the lining entirely and turning that lining into a skirt by adding a zipper. I really liked the pleating and I thought it would look kind of cool, and it turned out okay. I wore this to our rehearsal dinner and to a party we threw for our friends who didn't come to the wedding because ours was close family only. I purchased this blazer on Poshmark for $15, and it was a gamble, but it actually matched this pair of pants that I had from a few years ago. And together it made a suit, which I wore for my engagement photos and on my bachelorette. For the bachelorette, I wore it just with a white bra, and for the engagement photos, layered it over a white tank. My wedding day veil I bought on Etsy, and there's just so much choice for under $50. I would highly recommend to anyone to buy their veil on Etsy. The biggest splurges were this linen vest from Australian brand POSSE. I first saw it on Monique, a stylist from London, and placed my pre-order, which took a while. While I was waiting for my order though, lo and behold, Sophia Richie was seen wearing it during her wedding festivities. So I did end up having something that was similar to a celebrity wedding after all. My other splurges were my shoes at $150 USD and the STAUD beaded bag. But here's where I loosened my purse strings, so to speak. I didn't want to buy anything that would be a one-time wear, with the exception of my wedding dress and the veil, because the best investment is something you'll wear again and truly enjoy. So instead of compromising on cheap that'll-do shoes, I really did invest in comfort and style. Plus, Maguire, who makes these shoes, is a Montreal-based brand. My last tip if you're on a budget is to resell things that you don't want to keep. I don't have much I want to part with at this point, and nothing terribly valuable either, but if I did, I'd be on that ASAP to recoup some of the money I spent. Let me know in the comments below what your biggest bridal splurge was, or on the flip side, where you got the best deal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this video until the end. For more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the Capsule Suitcase and turn on notifications so you get all the fresh content as soon as it comes out. Thanks for supporting this channel. Happy travels!